Not just job cuts, Elon Musk eliminated Twitter days of rest and work from home policies last week, pushing a 24/7 work culture. If you're a Twitter employee who has a satisfying work-life balance, you may not want to hear what the new boss has to say. Musk cut close to 3,700 jobs at Twitter, or half of the workforce, via email last week. Musk has also removed Twitter's days of rest, monthly days off for employees to rest and recharge, in its push to implement 24/7 work culture. Additionally, Bloomberg reported that Musk plans to end the company's remote work policy and ask remaining employees to work to return to office full-time. Fantastic. Now watch this next one here. After weeks of media teeth gnashing over Musk takeover, Twitter sees explosive user engagement. Twitter's daily user growth hit an all-time high during the first full week of Elon Musk owning the platform, according to a company document obtained by The Verge. Since Musk's dramatic takeover, Twitter's monetizable daily user growth has accelerated more than 20%, while Twitter's largest market, the U.S., has grown even more quickly. Per the FAQ, Twitter has added more than 15 million monetizable daily user, not bots, crossing the 250 million mark since the end of second quarter, when it stopped reporting financials as a public company. So on one end, they're bashing the guy. On the other end, it's getting more engagement than ever before.
Look, the fact that he's just doing this blue thing for $8, it's like, look how many people are doing it. I don't know what the numbers are on that yet, but people wanted to give Twitter money, and Twitter had no mechanism to do it. I think Twitter is going to look completely 180 different in a year from now than it looks right now. It's going to look much more like WeChat, which is a Chinese app, which there's all sorts of reasons that we shouldn't be cloning Chinese apps, but that you're going to be able to do much more within Twitter in terms of purchases and communities and all sorts of stuff. That's obviously the route that he's going, but he has unlocked something. He has unlocked the fact that the government was in on it with the previous guys, and Jack Dorsey should be hauled in front of Congress again and again. I know nothing ever comes of it when they do it.
Of course.
But Jack Dorsey has a lot to pay for. They still have to expose what really happened with the laptop and who fully decided all of this stuff, and was a call put in by the government to Vijay Agade, who is the head of trust and safety. And there's so much that he can expose right now.
And COVID and all that.
Hence why Joe Biden is up there going, we'll find something.
And also, don't forget one thing with the $8 and how he's trying to monetize. He's realizing he can't just rely on corporate advertisers to continue, operating how they have been. Because how many advertisers have already pulled out of Twitter?
No, something like 50. This is definitely your guys' department more than mine, but has anyone ever bought a company at the premium that he bought a company at, and then within 2 weeks fired 75% of the workforce? Like, is there any comparable to that anywhere?
Pat, is that normal?
Where someone bought something at such a high price?
Not this size. No, not at this size. Not at this size. It happens all the time with smaller companies, but not at bigger companies. Sam, would you agree with that? Not at this kind of a scale.
Buying something at a premium and then doing something like this, that's not usually the way it works. The way it works is, it's 1995 and you buy Harley Davidson when it's really having a tough run, but it's a beautiful brand and it's got products that can be revived. Then you remove half of the people and you restructure it, and then you take off again because it's Harley Davidson. That happened to Harley Davidson a couple times in cycle, but it's never a premium where you pay like this huge premium for it and say, okay, I'm going to do this. Now, sometimes, private equity will buy companies like this, and then what they'll do is they'll see they want in, and it's a good sector with good growth and great fundamentals of the company, and they believe that a 7%, 5% layoff is going to increase the profitability of the company because they believe they're going to run it a little bit better than the previous administration did. But I've never seen something that this level of premium.
Tom, let me ask you a question.
This level of departure.
Regarding that. So like if you're using the Harley Davidson example, I assume that they're firing because they want to restructure and just kind of like reposition the workforce.
Yeah, they're saying this company's not doing well for a reason, and I'm about to fix it, and it's these guys.
Meaning it's not ideological at all. It's actual business. But I guess first impression would be Musk is firing these people. A lot of it is because ideological reasons, right? I mean, that's the premise that I would kind of. Obviously, there's restructuring and reformatting in business, but is some of this ideological reasons? Like we saw what percentage of Silicon Valley and those types of companies donate to D's versus R's. I'm wondering how much of this restructuring, firing, all that is business versus ideological.
I would say yes, but no. Yes, there is ideological elements here. But the other side of it, he's buying this because he thinks he can do something with it. You know, let's not forget, this is not George Soros buying a company and doing it. This is an operator, an entrepreneur. Oh, you're going to make rockets go to Mars. Well, he's almost there. You know, you're going to do the same with the electric car. He's got battery technology. He's got electric cars that look good, that run good, they're reliable. I mean, he's pulling it off. So is he making changes that have ideological elements to it? Sure. But I think he looks inside and says, wow, there needs to be free speech. There needs to be this. This needs to be so much better. And I can make a buck on it. And these sons of bitches aren't doing it, so I'm going to make a wholesale change. But I think at the core, some people see ideological, wholesale layoffs on that. No, I think he's looking. You knuckleheads are doing a bad job. You're doing a really bad job, and I'm going to buy this. I'm going to do a better job.
I think a couple times, not to cut you off. I think a couple times, like people came in, and they're like, coming in. He's like, "Did you ever talk shit about me?" And they're like, "No." And he just pulled up their tweet, like, "You talk shit, you're out." That's what I'm saying. Like, you're probably right.
Well, that's where I'm
like,
going
if you
with the
talk trash
ideological.
about me, you're out.
Okay, number 67 out. 68,
Yeah,
come on
68.
in.
So, Dave,
But
what's up?
also try to imagine what so many of these employees were doing on the DL. Like now that we have some insight, and this is what he really has to expose if he wants to clean it up and then move the company forward. It's like, how many of those employees were reading your DMs? Because there's no doubt that they were.
100%.
There's just no doubt that they were. How many of them were making sure that, for example, in July of 2021, when I tweeted out that mandates were coming and vaccines weren't working and I got suspended on Twitter, was that either the government that did it or was it an insider at Twitter that did it? He can now figure this all out. They have logs of all of this stuff. This is not, they can't paper shred all of this. So it's like if he just goes in and figures out who did what, when did they do it, and get rid of everybody. I mean, everybody there. Do not hire because of equity, hire because of competency, and give everybody what they want. He has it. In some ways, it's a very easy job because everyone wants him to succeed, except for Biden.
I like what you
and
said there.
company.
Do not hire because of equity. Hire because of competency.
Yeah.
And that's a major theme in America today, right?
It's very bizarre. I don't hire people based on the color of their skin.
I like what he said yesterday. He says, please note that Twitter will do lots of dumb things in coming months. We will keep that what works and change what doesn't. So he's testing right now. Here's what we're trying. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And people are adjusting to it, and he's going to constantly figure out a way to make it better. Dorsey yesterday apologized. Did you see the Dorsey apology yesterday? Dorsey, did you read Dorsey's apology? What did you think about that?
It rings very hollow to me.
Yeah.
You when you had a chance, dude, you did everything wrong. Then you step away. Also, the Dorsey thing, and I've chatted with him privately a couple of times. The Dorsey thing seems very odd to me because you guys all know how hard it is to run one company. So now you're running Twitter, like the most public company in the history of the world where everything is happening. And he was also running, what was the other company he was the CEO of? Stripe? Not
Square.
Stripe, or Square.
Square. Oh,
It's like,
Dorsey
how
was
is that
saying.
even possible? And then he goes in front of Congress and he lies. Do you shadow ban? No. And it's like, come on, man. But they know that nothing ever happens with these things. So, he's just trying to get back in. I don't blame him for what he's doing. He's trying to figure out a way to wiggle himself back in. And that's what any of us would do, right? If you did everything wrong all the way.
Well, Dorsey must look at Elon after, Dorsey's running two companies. Look at Elon. He's running Tesla and SpaceX and Neuralink and what's the satellite company? He's got the Boring
Starlink,
Company, Starlink, and now it's Tesla. It's like this guy might be an alien.
He's an alien, Adam. I agree.
Okay. I know he bangs
agree.
aliens.
I like what he's doing. And I like what he's doing. Dave, did you see about a week and a half ago where he actually tweeted two images from emails between the two executives?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so he's putting it out there. So it's like, okay, I'll tell you what. For all you guys who want to be yelling about this,
Here you go.
here. Because he walked in and he said, you know what? Can you pull the executive emails here and here for the guys I just let go? Don't touch them. Just pull them out there. I want to see this dialogue. Oh, this is very interesting. And so he showed America. He showed us this. And I think that's a sign of what he's saying.
It is also kind of funny that a guy who's literally sending us to Mars decides to get into this fight of all fights, which is the most painstaking, just the craziest cultural fight you could possibly ever get in. And then he fires these guys. And now, the lawsuits are going to be endless, right? Because he's trying to stop their golden parachutes because he's firing them for incompetency. They're going to obviously claim that they were not. Like, he's just opened himself up to everything. This guy who could literally leave Earth, have no problem that any of us could ever imagine.
He loves it.
Yeah, and
he loves it.
So, Pat, what do you think is his actual motivation? Because prior to Twitter, I don't think he was a big First Amendment free speech guy. Like, that wasn't his fight whatsoever. It was, Star Trek vibes, third dimension, another world, let's go to space, all that. Now, what do you think his motivation is?
I don't think that it wasn't his MO pre-COVID. I just think it wasn't as bizarre as it got during COVID. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
And he says, look, I'm going to buy one of these companies. I'm going to buy Twitter. Of course, we'd love for him to buy Facebook and some of these other guys. I don't think he can go raise that kind of money yet, unless if the valuation goes lower. But I think he has one other play he's got to do. I really think he's got one other play he's got to do.
What, a major newspaper?
And he's got to finalize CNN $6 billion.
Okay.
Go buy CNN $6 billion. You scared the shit out of everybody there.
Wow.
If he buys, so
Would love
now
that.
what happens is now he owns one of the virtual governments, which is Twitter. And if he buys one of the ultimate mainstream fake news, he buys CNN. Do you realize this is the one way to actually get these people to go to Canada? This would be the
100%.
ultimate way to get people to say, you know what, I'm finally doing it. I'm leaving. So with all the craziness taking place, I believe future looks bright. If you believe future looks bright, get your latest Future Looks Bright hat of Valuetainment. It says Future Looks Bright here, Future Looks Bright here. We got them in white, we got them in black, we got them in red. Our black on black sold out. These are about to sell out. If you haven't ordered one yet, we had a person in Michigan bought one, then he bought 3. Then when those 3 people weren't in the office, they had to order 58 of them because people wanted the Future Looks Bright hat, especially during times like this, because ain't nobody saying Future Looks Bright. To order your Future Looks Bright hat, click over here, and to watch the entire podcast, click here. Take care, everybody.